We'll still.
Okay, good morning. My name is George Mullins, B County Judge, and it is now 9:02 a.m. And I'm calling this regular term meeting of B County Commissioners Court to order. Today is Monday, December 13th, 2021. We are physically located at B County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi Street, Beeville, Texas, 78102. That was the call to order. Would everybody please join me? Join Commissioner with this prayer.
Lord, we want to thank you for today. Thank you for life, sir. We appreciate you allowing us to live on this earth and see all the things that you've put forth for us. Help this court to make the right decisions for the right reasons, for the right people. Help this nation. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner. So join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Excellent prayer, by the way, Commissioner DeWitt, on 0 seconds for notice, so thank you. At this point in time, I'd like to recognize some visitors. I know we have some visitors in the audience today. Thank you once again for your attendance. If you'd like to identify yourself, this isn't public comment. If you'd like to identify yourself for the record, you may do so at this time. We welcome you all. Moving on to agenda item number 5, Commissioners Court opening remarks. Commissioner Lenny, you start the ball this week.
All right. Not a whole lot going on. With Arturo Gaitan and Robert Velasquez and a few other little helpers of his, they have graciously donated all the material and time to redo the entire fence around the San Pedro Cemetery. Everything from the corner post, the fencing, they had one walk-through gate, and then 2 big walk-through gates. The drive-through gate was 10-foot wide. They increased it to 16 foot, and it looks really nice. They're doing a great job. Other than that, dealt with some trash issues and some questions people called about different things. And then we're planning on a big cleanup the second weekend of January. So other than that, it's been pretty quiet.
Excellent. Thank you,
Christmas holidays, everyone's, in the uproar. So I'll take it.
A couple of things, if you would. If you haven't had a chance to go out to Oak Grove, it's in Commissioner Felice's precinct, but it is absolutely gorgeous. The folks out there have done a lot of work. Glenn and I have been out there a couple of times and looked at it. The folks came before the court last meeting, asked for a little help. Road and Bridge was involved. Commissioner Felice had a fantastic idea to put a digital speed sign out there. It works very, very well. We also put up some slow signs. It's working. It's really working, and they're not detracting from the decorations out there. I think that the solutions that we came up with, Commissioner, are very good. I really do. I encourage everybody to go look. It's beautiful, beautiful. Also, in the precinct, a shout out to our Road and Bridge Administrator. He's been working very close with Orsted. Those are the folks that are putting in the wind and solar farms in North Peak County. He worked with them in Mineral. They're coming up with a plan to put in parking lot and covered parking for the folks waiting for their kiddos for school. That's ongoing, and I appreciate him meeting with them and working on that. Also with the Transportation Director of the Pawnee School District. They're working on that with Orsted as good neighbors. So we appreciate that. Also, the contract up there with the school was amended by Orsted. I think they're going to put in 66 wind turbines now. Originally, I think they were going to put in 68, but I think it's gone to 66. But everything else in the precinct is running smooth. Everybody's looking forward to Christmas, and I'll pass my commissioner to the left.
Pretty busy last 2 weeks. Attended one meeting at the sheriff's office with the judge last week, and there'll be some updates later for that one. Met Mr. Congressman Michael Cloud this past week, so he'll be coming back down again this Wednesday, and he's making his presence known here in B County, so we'll welcome that. Follow-up work on the tax office, it's almost completed. That one was a pretty fast job there, so we're winding that work up there, the construction work. Got a BDA meeting tonight, and, for Road and Bridge, thank you for the work on Desmond Road, that looks awesome, really, really good. And a big shout out to our constable, Mickey Trevino. I attended a, ballet folklorico, which the court approved him to, use our pavilion out there. And in 3 months, they got 75 kids involved in that program. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. So a big shout out to Ms. Trevino. Thank you for her work and all she does for the community.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow week, kind of like Commissioner Lenny. Been on the phone back and forth. Still, I think every meeting we do a shout out to Ray's crew. Ray's crew is busy picking up brush right now. Huge amounts of brush being laid out all over. He's doing some road repairs also. Update on the wind farm. Got from Rich Saunders with the wind farms that they should start repairing the road somewhere late January, middle February. 631, County Road 631. Ray and I have looked at that road several times. Got a call in to Robbie with environmental. He went a little trip out to 628. We still have a little issue with somebody dumping little bitty bags out. We're pretty sure we know who it is, but we'll be discussing that with them. Also, I have a meeting tomorrow with a Beeville Power induction. They're doing the solar farm there in Tynan, out south of Tynan and out in there. So I'll be meeting with him to see just what's going on out there. Again, the wind towers are almost finished, should be in operation by January of this year. There's quite a few more than we even anticipated. If you look to the east, you'll see there's a huge amount of them over there. Some will and some won't. Maybe have the beacon system. We have made that suggestion. Meeting with the fire departments, talking to them about their wish list to introduce to the American Rescue Plan, hopefully, and we'll see how that goes. Other than that, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hagan. Thank you to all the other commissioners for your reports. It's been a great few weeks, and it's been a long year. I'd just like to once again highlight, we had our awards banquet last week, and just like to jump on the same feeling that my fellow commissioners have, and thanking all of our employees as we look towards the end of this year. Thank you for everything that you've done over the course of this year, not only to overcome the challenges that persist with respect to COVID, both on the front lines and in the back office, but as well as making it a great year for B County as an entity, and a great year for B County as a constituency. So thank you guys for everything that you do. We're looking forward to a strong 2022, which is going to come before we know it. Okay, moving on, agenda item number 6, public comment. Do we have any members of the public who would like to address Commissioners Court? Now is the time when we would provide you that opportunity. Okay, hearing none, we are going to move on. Agenda item number 7. The following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioners Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Move to approve with comment.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
Yes, I'm looking at a hire here in the district attorney's office. I'm a little confused. They've got one salary scratched out and another one put above it.
Is that for Ms. McWilliams?
Yes, sir. It is correct.
Yes,
sir.
Okay, I won't say more about it.
Well, and I think it's a wash too, because it's all grant funded. Is that correct?
It is, it's the
100%?
BPU, it's the additional Lone Star position.
This is the salary, and the total grant amount covers all the
Okay,
benefits.
got it. My question is answered.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Anything we need to know?
Anything picked up?
No, sir, unless y'all have anything specific, no, but I don't.
Okay, sounds great. There's no further discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without, exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Discuss and consider action on the following items. At this point in time, there is a current, emergency going on in the county. We have, 2 items on the agenda, that representative from the sheriff's office, Chief Deputy Ronnie Jones, has left that emergency to come here and address. So at this time, I'm going to move agenda items number 14 and 15 to the top of the list above 8. So I'm going to call agenda item number 14, all under the discuss and consider action on the following items. Approve approximately $1,600 comp time payout for sheriff's office personnel to be paid out of salaries line item. Ms. Cantu, Chief Deputy, which one of y'all would like to
Chief Deputy.
start? Chief Deputy, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, that's his line.
Ronnie Jones, Chief Deputy, the Sheriff's Office. This has become problematic due to the shortages in jail. Currently, we're 16 jailers short out of 35. 35 just jailer positions. Those are not all the positions. But of the 35 jail positions, we're 16 short. When you have that, you incur comp time. When people incur comp time, also with deputies, the deputy is much lower on comp time, but they do incur it. We're currently 1 deputy short. When this occurs, we ask for a payout. We've been asking for more frequent payouts. I plan to ask for them quarterly. It should be made up through the salaries and not issued to the overall budget of the county. And the reason for that, you can't take vacation unless you exhaust your comp time. We have people that have lost vacation hours because they can't take the comp time, let alone their vacation, because it's short staff. So we'd like to pay them that.
Do you have a rundown or a list of what we're talking about?
I mean, I have one that I got from Colleen this morning, because I know there was nothing attached to the agenda item, but Colleen just sent me this morning.
You know, Commissioner DeWitt just asked about the comp time here last meeting, wasn't it?
Yes, and there were only 2 that stood out, and I brought those 2 up, that we need to take a look at them. I'll be honest, I didn't see the others.
Well, and in the line, you'll see the hours.
Oh, I'm sorry, please fill out your way.
But it's separated by the jail, the sheriff's office, and the deputies, or the bailiff, I'm sorry.
I guess what I'm referring to is the official comp time list that we were given at the last meeting. If they weren't on there?
This is the list that I was given by Colleen, so I don't have I don't have the other one in front of me to compare.
I didn't see the backup, so I was just,
Mhm.
who's it going to, where's it at, or what, you know, that's what I was kind of curious. And then, since we just discussed it at the last meeting, there was only 2 people that really stuck out on that, and I know that we looked at that.
So, be that as it may, we do have, if it's about 1,600 hours, it raises bigger questions, right?
Mhm.
How do we address not only the concerns that Chief Deputy Jones raised, which, you know, we keep having this issue where comp time has to be burned before vacation time does, so
It happens at the end of the year, when you cut off.
so they're burning their comp time, they don't
So how
take
much is
advantage
that
of their
dollar?
vacation time.
Well, I'm not sure of dollars and cents. I know that, let's see,
I want to say.
because I have the last comp time payout and how much they were, let's see, 2,000 hours in April, which was 30,000.
I
And,
want to say it's $25,000 to $30,000.
yeah, that's about what it's gonna be, because there's 1,700 in September that was paid out. I mean, September, and that was for almost 26,000. So that's about what we're looking at, 28,000 approximately.
So last meeting was only 1,112. We got another $500 in that.
Yes.
The 12-hour shifts are causing a lot of this, is that correct? Because I know HR told me they're accruing 24 hours per pay period because of your 12-hour shifts? Because I know y'all just switched to the 12-hour shift, correct?
Yes, it's not 24 hours a pay period, 8 days per comp time. They work 36 hours one week and 48 hours another week. That, it's not quite a wash, but it's the only way to really do it with, being 16 jailers short.
You know, looking at this list in all seriousness, the deputies are able to take a little of theirs off. The jailers can't, they have to be there, they don't have a choice. And I know that the cutoff for, your annual leave is December 31st, and then it drops back to a certain number, and you lose whatever you haven't taken.
January 7th is the last day to use, and I know I talked to Colleen and I asked her, because she said that the chief deputy had, requested a before Christmas payout, which would really be putting, the HR department back. Oh, there's HR. They have Stone Garden to put out, and also regular payroll that's already backed up because of our holiday. So, maybe, Mr.
How can you, well, can you work the Stone Garden or the other with being that short at the sheriff's office? Is there a way to work that, the Stone Garden grant?
Yes, they're already getting comp time, so they're over their hours that they have to work by the county.
I guess I'm confused. I don't
The
see,
jailers can't work so good.
no, but the deputies.
The deputies, they work their whatever their shift is, and then Stone Garden is overtime money after that.
So they work 12 hours and then they go to Stone Garden?
Deputies don't work 12 hours, they work 10 hours a day. They work Stone Garden. You won't see it near as much with the deputies as you do with the jailers.
The jailers. Another concern, Colleen shared with me was that the figures on the sheet that you have in front of you, were between pay periods. So, the current, she said payout after this pay period is ideal because then to see what they're gonna use, and also, to get it, we have to draw a line, and between a pay period is not ideal. And then they're able to tell their staff, okay, don't use comp time, because then they run into that kind of shortage. And Mr. Castillo might have a little bit more information on that.
If it's approved, the ideal time to pay it out would be the January, first of year in January, because that will allow them the opportunity to say, okay, y'all have to stop after this pay period, do not use any comp time, otherwise the numbers are skewed to try and pay it out based on what they're trying to give you. And y'all's numbers are fluctuating based on the fact when those numbers are asked for. They're asked for as of whatever that last pay period was, which could be already numbers used before y'all even get those numbers. And then now we got a new set of numbers when Ronnie asked for them at the later date. That's a different set of numbers. There's more comp time actually built up at that point.
What if we, what if the will of the court was to move forward with the comp time payout, but to try to avoid that issue, the payout was at 80% or 70% of the total comp time available on a per employee basis? Does that carve that out? And does that solve the desire to be paid out before the end of the year with the various logistical issues and timing issues that you have?
So use these numbers and just cut a percentage off, basically what you're saying, because only to get accurate, we have to ask each employee, what have you done already up to date? Because we're in the middle of a pay period, basically. We have to ask what they did.
I mean, the time crunch is not there.
Okay.
I was
I don't
thinking to
care
say,
about
if I was gonna get
before
paid,
Christmas.
it wouldn't matter if I got it before
No.
Christmas or after
I know.
Christmas. And I think if we do this, we leave it up to HR to decide exactly when the cutoff is, and he would advise them all. It's better to put it in their hands than make an arbitrary decision up here on 80% or 70% or this date or that date, because you've got a finger right on the tip of it.
It makes for more accurate, and as, the auditor mentioned, our next pay period, we're gonna have 2 payrolls in it. We're gonna have the Stone Garden and our regular payroll, but we only have 3 days to do all these payrolls. To throw a third one in there would be extremely difficult for us to try and get that next week, 3 payrolls out, or 3 sets of checks out within that short period of time.
Like I said, again, I have no problem with this figure. I'm just trying to get.
When did we last do a payout?
3 months ago.
9/23.
Do we anticipate in another 3 months that we're gonna have another untenable.
County doesn't pay overtime, so.
I think we may have to figure out a different way to staff your jail. What counties have y'all reached out to figure out how do they overcome this issue?
They don't, this is not new, it's a county in the news last week, they're 57 hours short.
It's statewide.
It's been a constant problem.
It's statewide.
We've been trying to figure this out.
The good news is, I always look at the good news, we have the money. That's the good news.
That's not the solution.
I'm not saying it's a solution, but it's the good news. We're not having to go out and, precinct two, I'm picking up aluminum cans.
Under our salaries.
So the total request would not exceed, $31,432.84.
This one, it won't exceed the 30,000.
won't
No,
exceed
I
that.
wanna say it's probably gonna be about 28.
And that would be
But that's at this amount. If they do the percentage like you mentioned, it would be less. It'd probably be more like 20.
And then we hit with your timing, right?
As long as we can do it by the start of January, then we'll be okay. It's just trying to do now, it's gonna be super difficult. I mean,
Yes.
our only shot is probably to hang it out this week, but we'd have to do on guesstimated numbers rather than accurate numbers.
No.
But next week would be where we would get the accurate numbers, but like I said, it would be super difficult for us only because that's a lot of payrolls in 3 days. We don't wanna get anything wrong.
And this would be line item transferred from the salary.
And
existing
to
salary
the
budget.
OT, the one in 409, that line item that we usually use? Yes, sir.
Okay.
And just, 12-hour shifts were discussed, actually, if you look at it several pay periods ago, the pay period before we went to 12-hour, just in the jail, and the pay period after, we got less comp time when we went to 12-hour shifts.
So it solves the problem a little bit.
It's less comp time, but still a lot of comp time, because we're literally 16 jailers short.
It looked like you hired a bunch.
We're-
Yeah.
Then you had one that didn't even last the whole day.
No.
I didn't hold that against you. Didn't know it, the individual didn't know what they were getting into.
Exactly.
What, any further discussion, or anybody want to make a motion at this time?
Mr. Jones, all I'd like to see is more backup when we throw it back up at us. And that way we can kind of look at it, because right now we're just looking at it right now in front of us. 5 minutes, a little more backup on the agenda would be good in the future.
Okay. In legal terms, due to exigent circumstances, I'll make a motion to approve.
I've got a motion to approve payout not to exceed $30,000
Not
to
to
the line
exceed
item
$30,000.
transferred from 409.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Did I say all that right?
What time period?
Yes,
We're gonna leave that
but
up to the.
leave it up to
Based
HR.
on HR.
Okay.
Yes.
HR's got that in their hands on how they want to handle it.
Yeah. Be paid out at, the preference of HR.
So I'll prepare the LIT, of course, next time. You'll have an LIT because we'll know the
We'll
figures.
know the
Yeah,
specific amount.
absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Thank you, Chief Deputy Jones. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Now, along the same lines of what I just explained, I'm pulling agenda item number 15, to the top. I'm not pulling it, I'm moving it to the top, and I'm going to call it right now. Agenda item number 15, approve and accept the 2022 Texas Department of Transportation TxDOT Selective Traffic Enforcement Program, STEP grant. Yeah, is this not housekeeping?
It is, it's a grant that we worked last year. We had some concerns about it, and we're not going to apply again. However, talking to, Tex Grant, they revamped several, problematic issues, and they're really highly encouraged for us. They really want us to take their money.
Okay, I didn't see, there's nothing in the packet though. What, is everybody familiar with the STEP grant?
There's no backup.
No, but are you familiar with it?
It's, paying overtime for, directed patrols in certain areas, for, seatbelt violations through the Texas Department of Transportation. What they want, a certain amount of traffic stops per hour on the, targeted roadways where there've been more accidents. So it's not really a storm guard or a border guard. They pick out, sections of highway, that have been prone to, more vehicle accidents. They want us out there and put some, the traffic code out there.
And we've been involved in this program for how many years?
Last year.
1 year?
And it was a little over 13,000,
Yes,
Tony?
ma'am.
I wanna say it was a little over 13,000, and the beginning year was a lot of hoops that we had to jump through. Grace was not very happy at all the additional work with this one grant, especially the amount of money. But I did get a promise from, the sheriff's office, that they would have a backup to Mr. Winkler, to Deputy Winkler. He'll have a backup when he's off duty, because I think that was when he was off, it was hard to get in touch with them to do reports, that kind of thing. So they've made us a promise that they're gonna, step it up a little bit more in their department.
And it was more check spot than anything else. It was a lot of audits and first year stuff that we're doing all this for this amount of money and the other ones, a lot more money than last year.
And is the, grant amount the same this year as it was last year, $13,000?
I believe it's around that.
Are there any other questions, discussions, comments? Anybody move to make a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you once again, Commissioners, thank you, Commissioners, but thank you, Chief Deputy Jones, and, your excuse.
You did very promoted or demoted when they called you commissioner.
He was.
Yeah.
Did I call him Judge?
No, he signed off as a judge.
Oh, that's, yeah, I remember
That was Rodney, though. That wasn't Rodney. Yeah.
Okay, moving back to agenda item number 8, approve URC energy agreement for utility review services to assist B County in obtaining a utility refund or utility cost reduction. This is a gentleman that reached out to my office. I had a telephone conversation with him. He has done some work down in the valley, and I think if you looked at his PowerPoint that's on the, in the agenda packet, you can see that one area where there's a bunch of little pins. They've done this in a lot of different places. There's also the contract that's been presented to us. I haven't negotiated any of the terms. You know, I think there's a few issues in general, a few questions. Paragraph number 9, paragraph 5, and then paragraph 3 as well. Basically, the offer is, and for the public to understand what this entity does, URC is in the business of taking a public entity like ours, utility bills, and identifying where we've been incorrectly charged. It's some type of fee or tax or some other charge, and going back and recovering those monies that we've paid out. I think the county's done this before that y'all are familiar with, but with a different entity. And so he's available by telephone today. But yeah, those 3 provisions, the deal that they're offering is 50% contingency fee, which would be 50% of every dollar that they recover, they would be entitled to, and we get the other 50%. I also believe, and he may say when we get him on the phone, that he's identified in his initial review of our electric bill, maybe something like $10,000 or $15,000. So it's not a huge amount of money potentially that we're talking about, unless there's a lot more there.
Well, I'm not sure the bills that were sent were just electric bills?
Were they
that
just
what we
electric?
sent? Was it just electricity?
Or the telephone and.
Because I saw in his, in this little PowerPoint that they do internet and cable.
I think,
Okay. I think it was just utility.
I think so too.
Because eligible utilities are electric, natural gas, telephone, water, sewer, waste, motor fuel, internet, and cable. And I would be interested in seeing that internet and cable for sure. Right. Yes, sir. And it was beneficial when we did the telephone years ago, about 6 years ago, I think we did the telephone audit, and it was beneficial, at that time. Of course, our bills have gone up since then, but, it was beneficial at that time, and I wanna say they found about $36,000.
I don't remember then what the split was.
It was the same,
Was the
it was
same?
50.
It was a different company though, wasn't it?
Yes,
You
sir.
know, it's a different company. I think they're all about the same, about 50/50.
I know this one's out of Florida.
There's something you got to, you already saw the contract?
Yeah, we're looking at it right now. It's on here. It's at the beginning.
Yeah, no, I saw that, but I mean, they're just the three items you picked out for the first.
Those are the ones, we've got an issue on some of the deadlines on, timing for the court to act, being a little bit short, so we might need to talk to him about that. Otherwise, we'd be probably having to set special call hearings just to meet our contract.
We don't need to do that.
No,
So
no,
we
because
just
it's
need a
given
little
us
bit more
15
flexibility.
business days, which is a bit of a
Special meeting
crunch.
came in.
Yeah, they work for us.
And then, I don't really like the last sentence of paragraph 9, just because it's subjective, and it has a penalty provision I don't like. But other than that, I don't see it being an issue. Shall I get Mr. Allen on the line? Please. All right. It's right here.
The red light means it's muted. Press the red light.
Red button.
Good morning, this is Matt.
Hi, Mr. Allen, Matt Allen, correct?
Correct.
Hi, this is Trace Morrill, B County Judge. I have you on speakerphone. We're in Commissioner's Court. We are in session. I have with me Commissioner Haggard, Commissioner Farias, Commissioner DeWitt, and Commissioner Lenny. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for the time to speak.
Yes, sir. We've called the agenda item, and we've gone through a general introduction of why you're on the call. If you'd like to take a few minutes, I'll give them to you now to make a presentation. We do have your PowerPoint. We've reviewed it. It's in our packet as well as the contract.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, thank you to Candy and Christina in the auditor's office for preparing all of the copies of the bills and being patient with me as we got to get everything scheduled to this. So hats off to them. Thank you. I have watched you on YouTube this morning, so I heard a couple of initial comments, which I'm happy to address. But basically, my company was founded in 2009 as an energy marketing company that focuses primarily on utility billing reviews. So we've worked with a multitude of Texas manufacturing, county, municipalities, and independent school districts, finding a range of refunds from, a couple dollars to a couple $1 million. So I've had the opportunity to briefly review a 1-month copy of bills provided to our office. They did include a couple gas, primarily electric. I believe there was 1 or 2 phone bills in there, and some water and sewer, but I'm not exactly sure if we've received them all. But what we did review came up with, an estimated refund of some incorrect meters and a couple line items that are being billed incorrectly of about $10,000 to $12,000. Now, I don't know, based upon that 1 month, if those errors have been there 1 month or 10 years, right? So once we get the authorization, I then go get the other 47 months of data from the utility on time and dime. So no make extra copies of utility invoices for any extended period of time. And then we're kind of honed in on the number. So if it was, only there 6 months, that number may be a little lower. Been there the full 4 years, which is what the statute of limitations in Texas allows us to recover. We'll probably be closer to the north end of that 12, maybe pushing even 15, if everything is there. I understand some of the language may give you some heartburn, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding company or some of the language and see if we can find some common
I guess, to begin with, we have and Ms. Cantu, jump in if I misstate anything. In order for the Commissioners Court to take action, this is talking about paragraph 5 with respect to, payment out. We have to take court action to authorize that, and we meet once every 2 weeks. And I would prefer on the front end to ask for a little bit more time to facilitate my regular schedule, so I don't have to make post a special call meeting and bring the Commissioners Court in, convening them just to approve, that payment.
That makes sense. Is 30 days, if I gave an extra 15 days, would that help, or is 45 more preferable?
30
is more than
great.
sufficient.
Yep.
Okay, I can make that change. Easy.
And then, I just don't, you heard me, I said it, I don't like the last sentence in paragraph 9, where we don't
The catch-all?
Yeah, and the 5% liquidated. I don't know why I would do that.
So actually that's an error on my part. We're not allowed, with municipals to have a liquidated damages clause, so I will strike, I can strike that, section.
Easy.
Maybe not in its entirety, but I can at least strike the penalty clause. But we have to just keep the notice in there. So, if there's any notices that need to be required, we have that 10 days after notice. But, yeah.
That's fine.
Liquidated damages, that's easy.
Okay, great. And then, of course, the other one that I raised was paragraph 3, 50%. I mean, we will entertain less.
Just there with you. Okay. All right. So we are a success fee-based company. So if we don't find anything, if we are looking at these bills and we're totally wrong on our estimate, and we go and do all this work and get these other 47 months worth of bills, and there's nothing there, okay? You messed up. You don't owe us anything. If we do go and you actually get a refund or a check back from the utility or the Texas Comptroller's office, only at that point would we then issue you an invoice for our shared percent of paragraph 3. If there are no refunds or savings or credits, there's no cost to us. Only once the refund or credit's delivered to you would we invoice with verification for our shared percentage.
So 50% is the lowest you're willing to go?
So our biggest refund in Texas was $1.5 million for Tyson, and it wasn't 50-50. But we do try to, anything under that $20,000 mark is typically in that 50-50 range, and then we have a sliding scale up from there. Simply because most of the utilities, especially telecom, which is where one of the meters that we found actually charge us per page for copies of invoices, and 47 months of a phone bill that's 10 to 15 pages a piece, adds up pretty quickly. So we've probably got a sunk cost of a couple $1,000s in this just for paperwork on top of then staff. So that 50-50, we'll probably make if it comes in at the $12,000 mark, we're clear a couple $1,000s, but there's kind of a front-loaded expense per se to getting all of that data back from the utility. And then after that, once our costs are covered, that scale starts to slide. So you see anything over 20, we start to adjust that number more in your favor. So if we come back and I find some mystery meter, has $1 million in there for you, we're doing what's right. We'll come back to the Commissioner's Court and say, hey, we were way low on our estimate, and then here's typically what we do. So anything over that kind of safe zone of that $10,000 to $12,000, $15,000 range, I think is pretty fit the 50-50. But if you submit some invoices that come in, maybe we do an addendum for anything above and beyond what we've already reviewed.
Okay. So, and I really appreciate that. I just want to make sure I understand. The contract doesn't talk about a sliding scale based on the scope of what y'all discover.
So if I can interject, I can add some language to say to the invoices that were submitted on Exhibit A, which actually will list out.
Okay.
I can provide you a list of all of the account numbers we initially reviewed. And then if you find some more in the process of digging up some copies, and they may push that number further, I'm happy to readdress with the Commissioners Court an addendum for a different percentage going forward on additional submitted meters.
Okay, I appreciate that. I've been commandeering the conversation. Any other questions?
You did well, so.
No, you're doing fine, you're asking exactly what we're looking for.
I don't think I have any other questions at this time, though. Are there any other questions?
I'm good.
Ms. Canty, I don't have any other questions. Does the will move anybody to make a motion?
Move to approve.
Second,
I've got a motion and a
With-
second.
With the alterations that you and, the gentleman came up with.
Okay, subject to final approval by, Mr. Allen and myself.
That is correct, yes.
Thank you.
Final approval.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Thank you, Mr. Allen, for your time and effort, this morning, on behalf of B County. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Mr. Allen, I will, my office will touch base with you after this meeting.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Have a good holiday, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Did somebody have a magic button? Do you have a magic button?
You had to hit the mute or?
No, I turned it off. You have a magic button? It went to mute. Somehow magically. All by
If it
itself.
was on mute, it would be red here.
It did, it went red. It went red there. And then, it went red and then I unmuted it.
Oh, okay, no, it's red.
Somebody must have done
We did. It was all over.
Okay,
I only
thank you.
touched it once.
I'm sorry. Thank you for everybody in the audience for your patience. We're gonna start cooking with gas now. Moving on to agenda item number 9, approved presentation of applicant for new hire approval for the B County Extension Agent Family Community Health position. Yes, sir, Mr. Montemayor, thank you so much for being here this morning, sir.
You know the routine.
I don't know, I've been here a while. Judge and Commissioners, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Good morning. I'll bring to you our finalists, that we've selected for the Family Community Health position here in B County. This is an individual that works with families and healthy lifestyles, working with communities, and also have been very, very involved and actually would continue to work as a coordinator for the 4-H program here in B County as well. As you may know, we've had some turnover in years past for an individual in that capacity. And I feel very confident that we're bringing today is Randy Shower. Randy is a native of B County. Also an individual that went off to college in A&M, in College Station, came back and was an educator here for some time here in Beeville. And we're fortunate to be able to have her apply for the position and also accept the offer that we provided to her. So this individual, she would actually, with y'all's, with the contingency of y'all's approval here, I would like for her to also be the current budget salary that is in the county, B County budget, would follow through with that as well, providing her the support, part of her salary. And she would actually start on January the 10th. We have a new process in extension. We change things every few years, as y'all know. We changed things, and we're going to start her on January the 10th with y'all's approval, with an onboarding process in College Station. And she'll go there for 2 days and come back and be there to work. So that's my plan. She came to us and we did all the screening. We had several interviews. We had 3 interviews. We had a few more of those actually applying. And we selected her as your finalist. And do you have any questions for Randy?
I don't, I'm excited.
Welcome aboard.
This is wonderful, yeah. Questions, comment, Ms. Shower, would you like to address the Commissioner's Court at all?
You will address later.
We're excited to be able to have Landon some help here, and Kathy. We appreciate them being here today as well. Landon has done a great job since moving to B County, and I feel that
Yes.
with the addition of Randy, we'll have a staff here that will be an all-star cast. So again, thank y'all for your support, and we'll entertain y'all's approval.
Well, with that note, I'll make a motion to approve Ms. Randy Shower as our agent, effective January 10th with the county stipend.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? You're joining one of the best teams in the county. So, if there's no further discussion, Congratulations and welcome, subject only to the following. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Thank you so much. Oh, we leave?
I got a lot more.
Goodbye. Moving on, agenda item number 10, approve expo request for arena fee waiver from the B County Junior Livestock and Homemaker Show practices on January 2nd, January 9th, January 16th, 2022.
I'm just here for support.
Just please identify yourself for the record and then,
I'm Tawny O'Brien.
good morning, y'all, please proceed.
Good morning. So we are here today on behalf of the Beach County Junior Livestock Show, Livestock and Homemakers Show, specifically for the horse club. And so we've been having some events throughout the year and always in preparation of our horse show with the county. And so what we're asking for today is to be able to use the facilities and have maintenance come in and work the dirt. And we're asking to waive the fee for that so that we can have our practice days on those 3 dates that he just Morrill gave to us earlier.
And y'all are aware that, the fee for rental is what we waive, not the maintenance fee.
Well, and that's what we've had in the past for all of our events that have to do with the county kids.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here today actually asking that we get the maintenance fee also waived for those practice days. And the reason being is because there's no money exchange, there's no entry, there's no money raised. This is just practice days in preparation for our horse show.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I move to approve.
I've got a motion, do I have a second?
Second that.
I've got a motion and a second, further discussion?
Everything back.
Oh, absolutely. That's standard.
We're not
No,
we're not gonna tell you to leave it the way you found it,
So
but
the portable.
just put it back.
It's my understanding we're waiving all the fees.
Waiving all the fees, exactly. That is my
100%.
motion.
Okay. There's no further discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you all for everything that you do on behalf of the youth of B County.
Of course.
And thank you for being here this morning, Ms. O'Brien.
Well,
Yeah, we'll work that out. Yeah. No fees for it. Everybody left.
Hey, what are we, chopped liver?
Moving on. I've got too many copies of the agenda. Sometimes none, sometimes too many. Agenda item number 11, approve request for proposals and qualifications for construction services related to the Texas Community Development Block Grant, Texas CDBG contract number 7220019 for Pettis Municipal Utility District.
Move to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 12, approve building repairs to probation buildings. I'll take the lead on that. We had an opportunity to get in and make some repairs really quickly, or get started really quickly on probation, both adult and juvenile, correct, on the flooring. It's gotten super soft in some locations, and so I went ahead and pre-approved it, and I'm here this morning asking for your forgiveness and approval.
Motion to accept the JL squared proposal, construction proposal to do the repairs to both buildings.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
Jail Square, just to catch you guys up, is the same people that's in the EOC and the tax office. They're exact same. They're very quick and they're very, very good with their work. Awesome. Okay.
And they're part of our co-op.
Co-op.
Almost every time you speak, I'm just thinking Bob the Builder. Or
You
Chief
kind of look like
Construction
him too. We
Management
just need a
Expert
little,
over here.
little hard hat.
I'm gonna take it right.
Thank you. I mean, it sincerely.
Well, I do want to comment that their bid for both buildings was less than the one building for the other
Mhm.
individual, so, and they do excellent work. I've seen their work. Fantastic.
Is there a motion on the?
Motion
Yeah,
and a second?
motion.
Oh, my apologies for, there's there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 13, approve county clerk's request for permission to use county credit card for lodging at the county clerk's winter conference for the county clerk and chief deputy clerk. This seems pretty
Cut and dry.
routine. I don't know, there's some hesitancy, I don't know. if it's-
I
want
This is something we do.
Yes, is it something that they're charging ahead?
Yeah, so normally what happens, I'll not need the credit card, I'll just get a credit card authorization form, because what happens is, normally when Chris and I will check into a hotel, they'll pre-auth my debit card for the entire stay and incidentals, and it won't fall off until 3 to 5 days after they deposit the check. So it's just so that way I'm not broke completely.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second. We got a motion and a second, further discussion? There's a lot we could discuss there.
Yeah. All is being broke, you'll fall in line with the rest.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. We've already addressed, 14 and 15, moving on to agenda item 16. Approved request to allow Blanconia Fire Department to follow under the umbrella of B County's grant procurement policy and procedures to assist Blanconia in obtaining grant funding from Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA grant number Disaster Recovery R-4332 Hurricane Harvey.
Judge,
Yes.
Commissioners, I'm gonna ask y'all to table this, because there's still some information that we're not clear with on this item.
Okay.
And I would like to see some clarity before, or get some questions answered before we approve. We would like to see them proceed, but there's a lot of unanswered questions. on
Yeah,
this
like
item.
who owns the property?
Exactly right, and we've been toying with that for a while.
Did you make that a motion, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
I agree, I have some questions also.
I have a motion and second to table. Further discussion, hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. This item will be tabled for a later agenda. Agenda item number 17, do I have to vote on the table? Or do we just table?
You vote.
Approve recommendation from the Policy Formulation Committee to add Section 200.317 procurement by states and Section 200.327 contract provisions in the Code of Federal Regulations to the B County Personnel Policy Handbook under Section 19 Grants Management Policy. And I will say this, I know that Mr. Willow is also involved, emergency management is set up on the issue that Chief Deputy Jones out of Commissioner's Court this morning. That's the only reason he's not present this morning on either of these agenda items.
Good, I have some questions on this one also. Is it required?
Mhm. Yes, we have to add this language, and this CRF 200 is for our art, and that's why we've had to get this new policy and procedures approved by the court.
So
And
this
we've
is a
been-
mandatory, this is a must?
Mhm. Yes, we have to
Okay.
have this language, and this is additional that Grace found out that we did not adopt with the original policy and procedure, the CFR 200, which was a few.
I don't know what the right word is, whenever we start adopting all these federal regulations, I know we have to, but dadgummit, when I started reading through this,
How does it actually lay
Yeah.
with everything that we already
Exactly.
have?
Well, does that stop the?
No. it doesn't stop what we're doing, but
Okay.
it just adds layers of do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta
Well,
check on that, you
With
gotta
our-
check this box, you gotta do this.
Because that's what they have us do, is jump through
Well,
hoops
I'm
for
glad we've already
reporting.
done what we've done, because moving forward, it's gonna get more and more complicated.
It has, and it
Yes.
will, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
but we've
like
done what we've
that
done.
is very
I see the
correct.
famous word must.
Well,
Once you see must,
no, sir, it's shall is the key word, and there's no shalls in it.
no, but when it says must, you're,
No,
Well, as long as it doesn't
no, must
ruin
do.
all the
It's shall do.
work that y'all have done so far.
It won't
Yeah,
negate
it
anything
won't-
we've
it
done.
won't.
Okay. We followed the rules and didn't realize it. Let's leave it at that.
I don't, the way I understand it is, in order for us to continue to participate in the art program with success, we've got to follow this CFR regulation.
We have to.
If there's no choice.
Yeah, we just gotta do it, and we thank in advance the, auditor's office office for and
Grace's desk, she's on every single, word and where it has to come from, and they attach them to our, our projects, and if we followed, and if it went through court, because they asked for the minutes for everything. So they have to have all of that back up with our project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion?
Grudgingly.
Motion in the second, and with due apologies to the auditor's office
Yes.
for the additional layers of work. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, agenda item number 18, approved Third Coast distributing credit applications for road and bridge and maintenance departments.
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 19, approve request to declare Justice of the Peace Precinct 4's large safe, file cabinets, and other equipment non-functionable, unsalvageable, removed from net data, and placed for sale on GovDeals.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have a comment?
You have a comment? I'm gonna assume, which is a terrible word in government, we're gonna allow any other department that might need some of this stuff to take a look at it, like the safe, is it not good?
Well, it's great.
It's,
You got room for something like that.
it's huge. The maintenance department could barely even move it out.
Broke the
They
floor, moved
broke the, it's been there for years and years, and
Do we have the combination?
Sure.
It's this thick on the side, and it's the width of a filing cabinet.
Oh, my
It can
goodness.
take like one legal file.
It took backhoe to get it out. We took it out.
A backhoe.
So we sell it by a pound.
Yeah.
We don't sell it in GovDeals. They'll make a fortune in it.
Okay.
It's about 4 by 2.
Yeah.
Is
Is it like the safe that's in Linda Bridges' office, like that one?
No.
No.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it smaller than that?
that's,
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
that's a
it's much
vault,
smaller.
no? That's a
It
vault.
fits through the door.
Yes.
I
Going
need
out.
a small safe.
No, no.
Small safe.
You don't want that
no.
one?
Okay.
Oh,
We just
no.
put a floor, we just put a floor in there. We're not gonna do that.
Exceeds the way
If
that it
anybody has a small one, I need a small one just to put two
Look
books.
at
That's all I need.
Yeah.
Look in the jail.
Where you go,
Look in the old Toledo Street jail.
We wanna.
And
There are safes in the Toledo Street
They
jail.
don't have a combination to that one.
Judge Cantu's office looked like a John boat with 200 Mercury on the back.
I've been in that all the
Money.
time.
You could change the combo.
That's too big. I really need, I just need those 2 books or 4 books I brought me. That's all I need to do,
Tractor
a fire,
Supply has some small safes.
a fireproof
Fire
file
rating.
cabinet would work.
Yeah, fire rate.
And they're inexpensive. We've purchased a couple of them personally.
Okay. That's all I need.
Before we go on to, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You have other-
One other question. I think I'm reading this right. There's a laptop that was bought in 2020 we're gonna get rid of. Is that correct? Am I reading that correct?
That looks like.
Inventory
what's highlighted.
1809?
That looks like what's highlighted.
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica
It's
wasn't
only
there
a year
before I
old.
left.
I don't know. Can it be transferred if they don't want it anymore? Or maybe it's missing?
Of course. No,
Even
if
we
it can
approve
be
this, we
used,
can still.
oh, yes, it's just, getting it out of their inventory, and if we are going to,
Just moving it off the books.
yes,
I mean,
but
we're
if
allowed to
somebody
do it
else
when
can
we-
use,
Okay.
this just gives us movement out of
Okay,
it.
because the way I read it, it was all going to be put on GovDeals.
Mhm. But
I
I
would
wouldn't
also-
say the laptops, I mean, we usually don't do that,
I can
because,
amend my motion to allow the county to use what's there first before going to
Please,
GovDeals.
because we could let Craig's office look, y'all might take
Well,
a
there's-
look at these, because y'all can salvage these
Somebody
laptops.
may want the file cabinets also.
Yeah.
We also need to make sure none of this, and the laptop's just a little red flag for me,
Yeah.
Destroy.
that know that it's not the one purchased with a grant, or there's some other
Oh, yeah.
disposition requirements before we can.
yeah, no, a grant wouldn't be an issue, because it wouldn't be in that department for any grant.
Okay.
but there's a Dell, there's a couple of, Microsofts. I would recommend in your motion that, Craig's team take a look at those, see if they can reuse them.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay, we have an amended motion, we have an amended second. All right, any further discussion? Okay, just real quick, I have some photographs, Judge Cantu sent me of the renovations to our office, the floors, they really do look great. I'll have Candy, email those to you all a little bit later this morning, but I know you'd like to see them. It all turned out really good. I saw a couple of the staff, at our event last week, and they commented on how nice it is. They thanked the commissioners for their support.
And I'm not sure if y'all saw it, the floors before, but they were pretty bad. They were.
Yes, sir. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Moving on to agenda item number 20, American Rescue Plan, ARP status and projects. Commissioners DeWitt and Linden, anything to report?
Do you have anything, sir, for our report?
I don't, not yet.
I have a couple of things. I know the auditor has quite a bit. Everything the court's approved is in the works. That's the good news. One thing that I thought of that I'd like to bring before the court when we're talking about renovating buildings is the possibility that the court would authorize us to go to our consultant about the community center in Pettus. It needs about $25,000 or $30,000 worth of renovations, and it is vaccination hub. Just a thought. I'm throwing it out for discussion more than anything else. We've been trying to do something there for several years, and this might be a chance to use some of this money to do it. I don't know.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, I'll make a motion and that we take it to the committee, for the renovation of the community, building in Pettus. We'll take it to the committee, see what the consultants say, and bring it back to the court.
Do I have a motion?
I'll entertain the motion.
Second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception.
And I will defer everything. I know she's in the process of making out some transfer checks, gonna make Skidmore very happy, so, man.
Yeah, so you see attached is everything that's been submitted by, Skidmore Water, and they've already, paid out to them, and for the tank that's being constructed currently.
Do we need to take action on each one of those amounts in that mark?
No, it's in the item.
I know they're listed, so, good work.
I'll make a motion to, pay out these invoices.
I'll second it.
I've got a motion and a second to, pay out the invoices submitted by the Skidmore Water Supply Corporation out of ARP funds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception.
And before we leave this subject, I want to shout out to the auditor's office and to Grace for the awesome work they're doing. There's a lot more there's a lot of peddling behind the scenes that's going on, and they are doing a fantastic job. And our new consultant is spending time with them, spending time with Skidmore. We're very pleased with the way this is going, and it's all positive.
So glad
Very
to hear
good,
that.
very good.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Grace is a rock star, for
I'm
sure.
telling you.
No, she is. And, Angela, the new admin, on our side is just awesome, and we've been working very well together.
I hope they're both watching.
Well, and something else, we have some folks with fantastic common sense, and they're listening, and they're moving forward, and they're coming up with ideas, and it's so refreshing and appreciated. I don't know how else to say it.
That's great. I love it. What else do we have on this agenda item? Anything? Commissioners?
No, so we're gonna have a little short meeting after the meeting, because we need to set up a January meeting with Ms. Leach.
A meeting for a meeting.
For the meeting.
We have a meeting.
We need a committee to form that meeting?
Yes, we
Yeah, okay.
That's all we have, sir.
Thank you. Moving on, agenda item number 21.
Wow.
Update, discussion, and possible action regarding B County COVID-19 status, preparedness, and contingency planning. The whole world seems to continually be, to the extent that it exists, somewhat gripped in the new Omicron virus. So members of the community that are watching, everybody present, please continue to remain vigilant, keep yourself safe, think about others, and please stay safe and healthy, out there. Take care of yourselves. We don't have anything else to report with respect to that. Testing is still available, and the hotline is still open if anybody needs to call. Is there anything further anybody would like to discuss about COVID?
Well, not COVID, but when you get to move on now.
Okay, that's it.
I just want to add, people to put in their prayers for the county, the states that were affected by this last month.
Thank you, yeah.
This morning reported almost 80, and the toll is supposed to rise.
The photographs are just
They're terrible.
horrendous,
They're
yeah,
terrible.
just looking at the damage and
You know,
destruction.
the befores and afters are just amazing. So,
I know
Okay.
Constable Mickey Trevino is also on another, collection to take up a load of items to Kentucky.
Yeah, to Kentucky, yeah.
Kentucky, Tennessee, yeah.
It's
Shout out
wonderful.
to anybody who wants to contribute, Constable Trevino, to take some items up there.
Yeah, please find Constable Trevino either on Facebook or call her, her county number or, Angel Care. And thank you to her and all the other volunteers. Anything further? We have no executive items this afternoon. We move on to agenda item number 22, adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. Vote passes 4-1. We are adjourned.
I
You
knew
gotta
that was
vote
coming.
against one item.
I knew that was